So these farmers get rent for their land paid by the utility companies to put those windmills on there. They're not putting it there for free. So actually it's good revenue for a lot of the farmers. That's why they allow all these expansions of windmills everywhere on their farmland. And like I said, in Illinois, for example, you go up 55, you see thousands of them. The another thing that also is coming up is a lot of retreats. And again, they don't have to be fancy retreats. It doesn't have to be these amazing spas or whatever. A lot of these retreats could be cabins, could be tiny homes, could be, glamping. But a lot of this land is for retreats. I had a student actually that ended up buying this property up in North Carolina near a lake. And it had a tackle shop on the property, and slips. There were some for boats. It wasn't on a lake, and then there was all this land next to it, and there were some rooms, I think, next to the tackle shop where people could stay overnight. And she's like, I don't know what to do with all this land to it. And I said to her, rent it out, make camping lots out of it. Just run some electricity and water that people can tap into, and call it a day. And she's like, well, that's a clever idea. And there's so many apps out there, by the way, and I say that because I have an RV, but there's so many apps up there like Airbnb, like Hip Camp is one of them, where you can people can go out there and say, hey, I have a spot near the lake, for example, and I provide water and electricity. And you can charge $50, $100 a night or more for the slot that you got there anyway. So you see now the possibility there of creating land that's not just the same things like, that you think about. You don't have to build a house on the land. It could be done very creatively. And we talk also about farmland. Farmland is always, viable farmland is always important. And because also farmland can be rezoned at some point. So, a lot of times you can buy a lot of farmland and then rezone it. A specific example to this I have actually in my own family. My dad they owned a lot of agricultural land. And then also he went out there and bought a bunch of land from different farmers. And so all of a sudden he had all this acreage, and he got rezoned because at that point it was all out of the city, but he saw that the city was moving towards the area, so he got this land rezoned to commercial and residential. Now let's fast forward 60 years later, and now basically the city has moved. Now the land that used to be a farm now is in our city. It's like the expansion went that way, and he made a ton of money because he got hotels built there, restaurants, residential. And I see little movie clips back in the 60s when this was just empty land, and now there is a city there. So imagine, taking the agriculture, what he did by rezoning it. So this is some of the strategies of what are really booming now in 2025 and beyond. And this is always being strategies about land that people don't even think about. Yes, of course, you can get land for future developments and so forth. But the thing is, even getting these type of lots that are good for camping, glamping, RVs, farmland, tiny homes, solar energy, and retreats, these are niches that are really hot right now. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come up, we're going to talk about the 3 rookie mistakes that ruin land deals. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back, and let's talk about the top mistakes that a lot of people investing in land are not doing. Or maybe these are the fears that keep you from investing in land in the first place. Well, number one is you need to do due diligence.